Hello everyone, you're in here again. I know I haven't been here for a long time, but I think it's time for another video. You might remember my railgun video from a while back. You might even remember this exact cube from the railgun video. And I think I've spoiled it enough. Yeah, we have more railgun stuff. Let me just put this back over here and I'll show you guys what I've got. Alright, line it up. That's way far back. This maybe? No, more. Here. Yeah, okay. So, in the previous railgun tech video, I showed you guys the spinning railgun rounds. You know, I built the little contraption, loaded it with a very simple shell, and spun it up with a gyro, and it did massive damage to this here block. In fact, that little shell with a couple shots destroyed, if we're going from here, went about this far and just cratered the whole front of the brick in. Well, don't mind the massive build, that's for recoil control in the water, because this is a boat. This is pretty much the same exact round, but it's way bigger, and the railgun is way bigger. So here it's the same spinning shell on the end there. How do I? On the end there, right here. That's the exact shell, pretty much. Just the cone is longer with the recent rounded wedge pieces. And then it's just 3 mass blocks, which weigh a lot and make it fly very straight, added to the very straightness of the gyro. The shell is also no dragged. You can't see it right now, but as you can see by the speedometer, the creation is broken. That's because the shell is no dragged. So let me show you what this thing can do. So just aim in, line it up, about there, and fire. So it does what the old one did very well. As you can see, it is indeed stuck inside of the build, and it did indeed crater a massive hole in the entire build. And as I'm speaking, we can all see that literally the whole brick is damaged. The damage physics with 2.0 that we could see in the previous video made impacts way more powerful, and yeah, it's stuck in there. The entire cone is inside of it, and it knocked the brick back a bit. But yeah, pretty good crater, right? Issue is, if I get into this and load it, and then just try to fire as far as I possibly can, right? Elevation all the way up. I don't know if it'll get out of render distance before it lands. I think it won't. That is flying way out there. What? I lost it. I lost it. Well, the range on it, at least without the no drag, was about 800, 900 meters. With the no drag, it's extended to about 1200, but that's still about as much as you get. Now, I thought of many ways to try and fix that, be it making a bigger railgun, which isn't very possible because anything bigger than this is unable to aim in any comfortable way. You pretty much have to make it a hull aiming thing, and then it's really hard to do up and down, so you're pretty much limited to firing at things directly in front of you. But another way was thrusters. And thrusters I did, so it's the same thing, but now behind the gyro, right before the long part starts, there's a thruster. This is mostly for balance, because the gyro holds direction, but you still have to have most of the weight at the front, like a real arrow. So again, same exact thing. Aim at the target, can aim a bit further down because the round is moving a lot faster. And it is literally one space thruster. And here's what it does. It, yeah. And you can see it's still going over there. It, deleted the whole block. This is the damage from the original. It damaged the whole block, but it only deleted these blocks. This is just straight up removed, I'd say, 75% of the brick. But yeah, so that is the round with thruster. And in addition to the higher speed doing more damage, it also goes further. Because it has its own acceleration, while flying, it keeps getting faster. So as long as it doesn't touch the ground, it'll just keep going further. I think on Grand Carrier Reef, I got it to hit something about 1,500, 1,700 meters away. It's a lot. But you can see there's a third thing. After making that and realizing how destructive it is and how crazy of a weapon it is at long range, I decided, what if we up the ante and make it even more destructive? So I replaced the cone with an explosive. And there's a camera drone there that was mostly for testing, but also so I can see just how far it ends up. So let me fire this at the block first. And then I'll show you what the range is. So here we go. Yeah, so it immediately explodes half of the brick and threw it away. Which, while it didn't deal quite as much damage as the second one, that's a clean chop in half. That chopped it pretty clean in half. And yeah, that's the big thing with it. It deals a lot of damage in a pretty big radius. So if I was to put, let's say, one block here, and say another block here, and another one here, this to represent like a group of builds, right? So we got those three big tanky builds all around the relative center. I'm going to try to hit the one in the back just to show you the radius of this. Have to aim a bit up. And here we go. So the back one got that's actually way more damage. Wait, what? But yeah, the back one got detonated to and burnt off to about 10% of its size, and then the rest got knocked off by fall damage because it got thrown so high. And the two other bricks around it, this one lost about a layer of blocks. This one got its corner taken off. But yeah, the radius is pretty good because it's 6 TNT, and with the amount of kinetic energy this round has, one shot is usually enough for most large builds. And while this isn't quite as good against armor, because it's an explosive, and it doesn't just try to punch through, it tries to explode it. In fact, the sensors at the front, they're not like, yeah, it has sensors on the front, so it explodes, whatever the case. These aren't like extremely short range sensors. Well, they are, but they still trigger 1 meter away from the target. And that's not a direct impact. That if it actually touches the target, which I can set it to, I can lower the distance on the sensor to like 0.1 meter or 0, where it would trigger as soon as it hits. It can do some pretty serious damage. But even without doing that, it ruins builds. And to show you how far it can do that, that's what the camera is for. Here, so the same thing, I aim all the way up and fire it. We're looking for that blue light from the magnets. We almost went out of render distance there. Alright, the builds were about to go into far LOD, so the furthest level of distance, level of detail, and just despawn. Well, not be visible. That's the range of this thing. And again, this is a fully turreted build, right? So, and it can hit pretty much anywhere on any map. So let's say this was water, I could be on the water, shoot something that's on land, shoot another boat. I don't think I've ever hit a plane with it, but I've definitely hit helis with it, like low-flying helicopter. As soon as it starts hovering, like stops in one spot, you can hit them pretty easily. The rounds are really fast. And because it's an explosive, you don't have to try to aim for center mass, because even if you hit like some small edge or something, as long as the sensor triggers, well, you're still doing the damage. So as a general tool, the explosive one is better than the others. If you're having to deal with a large armored build, the original, well, no. If you're having to deal with a large armored build, the one with a thruster is the best option. Just because it deals the most damage up front. Like, if you just want to hit something really hard, this is the best option for it. It has a bunch of knockback because, well, it's an object hitting another object, and it deals a lot of impact damage. But its damage is only that high once it gets going a little bit. So if you don't have the space necessarily to hit something with that distance in mind, it might be better to go for the original, where you don't have that thruster, which means the round is lighter, so it accelerates to a higher speed on its own. So while it doesn't have the extra point of the thruster one, where it then keeps accelerating, this one, it starts off faster, so up close you can deal a bit more damage. But all three are great options at most, if not all, regular combat ranges. Did I have other railgun tech? I don't think I did. Did I? Well, I guess I can show this here. When Pioneers came out, they added the miner, pulse miner, and this is wide known stuff. You can propel projectiles with them, so this is a smaller version of the railgun, but instead of firing like bolts, it fires torpedoes using this massive array of pulse miners. So it just, you know, just goes, yeah, and it has about the same range, if not more. So yeah, the only issue is the torpedoes can be, I think they can be blocked by shields. Let me check. Let me check if the torpedo can be blocked by shields. And another issue with it is if you're too close, then at certain angles it will just phase through things, because it doesn't register that the round actually hits something. It only registers the fact that it's moving. and the game doesn't have the time yet to like understand that, oh, you hit it with a torpedo, because the torpedo takes a bit of time to register that it hit something. So if you're too close and it doesn't have the time to calculate that, well, your hit will just not count. Okay, let's try this against a shielded target real quick. Aim up and hit it. So, did that? Did it go through shields? Wait, let me. I think they do. No. Did that? I don't. Wait. I think they do go through shields. Wait, let me. I gotta test this. Alright, so here is the shield. Then we just unlock that, and is it? Okay, wait. Oh, it's the time stop. All right, so that time is not stopped. Right, now let's shoot it. Okay, so they do go through shields. That's nice to know. So the torpedoes are worthwhile. They just do way less damage. And I'm more of a fan of like physical munitions. I think them adding all of these new underwater weapons that replace hand-built torpedoes and all of this other stuff, and the grenade launchers to replace TNT like cannons, and all these energy weapons. Like, I have builds that use all of these weapons. Great example, in here, one of my most OP builds is this. It's a wall of flat cannons. But this is really a last resort type of build. Sorry, went on a bit of a tangent there. But you know, my favorite type of way fighting in this game is just throwing rocks at people. I even have a mech that has a railgun on it. It's basically just a miniaturized version of the one I just showed you with the regular spinning round. But yeah, that is about it for today. Just a couple builds, some simple tech. I might post a couple videos in the next month, maybe not. I'll see how it goes. Sorry for the long wait between posts. I can't really manage my time that well. But yeah, that was about it for today. This was Euron. Peace.